Okay, anyone? Siraj? Siraj, do you remember? Siraj Ansari. Who can tell me? Aman? Aman Makhani? Are you there? Amy? Basics of OSI model? No, I didn't discuss any basics of OSI model. I didn't take the basics of. I'm talking about my lecture, if you do remember. What I have covered so far in my lecture. Anjali, why don't you talk something? Hmm? Anjali, are you there? Respond. Tell me. Unmute yourself and tell me.
Sir, actually, I didn't remember it.
It's okay, no problem. But at least you can tell I do not remember, okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you should respond. I'm asking. If you do not remember, it's fine. I'll find out. I'll figure out what we have covered. But I just wanted to know how many of are really attending your lectures. It's important for me. Ayush, yeah, you can unmute yourself. Anjali, thank you. Ayush, are you there? If you do not respond, I will mark you absent. Please note it. Aziz, Aziz, yeah, Aziz. Ayush, you unmute yourself and talk to me.
Yes, sir.
Why it took so much time to unmute yourself?
Sir, network issues.
You have attended my last lecture, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you remember what I have covered?
Sorry, sir, I don't remember.
Why? But why? I didn't discuss much. I discussed very little thing. This is my second lecture with you. I have discussed about the basics. Why should we learn computer networks? Right? What is the impact of computer networks in our life? That's what we have discussed. If you do not remember, then what is the point taking all these lectures and you're attending your lectures? Is it helpful? Ayush, answer me. Aziz, yeah, tell me. Unmute yourself. I wanted to hear your voice.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, do you remember? Aziz, yeah, okay. Yeah. Do you
No,
remember?
sir, no remember, sir. Sorry.
It's okay. Don't feel sorry, but we try to remember the lectures, at least what we have discussed. We discussed about the basics, why it is important to learn, isn't it? You have attended my lecture, right?
Yes, sir.
I told about myself also with the description of mine, right?
Yes, sir.
It's it's important to remember a little bit, not everything. Okay, anyways, it's okay. Fine. Bharat, Bharat. Bharat, are you there?
Hello, sir. Yes, sir.
No, sir. Yes, sir. What is no, sir? Yes, sir. You do not
Hello,
remember.
hello, sir. Hello.
You are there. Yes, sir. And you do not remember. No, sir. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. No problem. Bhavya. Bhavya Patel. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Do you remember? No, sir. Hello.
Yes, sir.
You remember, right?
Yes.
Tell me. Tell everyone what I have discussed in the first lecture. Briefly, in 1 minute. What? Packet switching. Packet switching after forward explained to incomplete. I do not remember. Packet switching. Did I discuss packet switching? Okay. Kirtan. Tell me, you unmute yourself. So nice of you that you can remember. Kirtan.
Yes, sir.
Good. You have responded nicely. And tell me, what I have. I didn't discuss. I think packet switching, right? Did I discuss? Okay, how internet works, Rahil Mehta. How internet works, that I have discussed. Yes. And why it is important to learn after that how internet works. I have shown the internet backbone as well as international backbone. I also talked about SMW, right? These things we have discussed. Very good. Very good. But I'm really surprised. I'm surprised that you do not remember. I think you remember. You need to be get yourself refreshed. I don't think that you do not remember, but you are not trying to recall it. That's why. Anyways, let me go to the next session. But please try to remember at least main topics what I have covered. Then only, yeah, some traffic signals. Okay, I think you have given some definition of URL. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Please, everyone, go through the chat box. Pooja is telling something, and Shivanand also. Yeah, some traffic signals. And Rahil exactly is telling how internet works. I have discussed. So let's go to the next session, next part of our discussion. In this is again. Let me remind you. Okay, what is a router and what is a URL? I have discussed. Chirag told. And last week was a holiday. Yeah, I understand. I remember last week was a holiday, but I am talking about the first week, the week before last week. Why it's hard to, okay, jog the memory. Yeah, fine, it's okay. Holiday, so there should not be any holiday, then you will remember everything. Router and that. Okay, but let me start the next session. And first I wanted to tell you about good books that you should take. Let me present it. So because to have a good book to learn the course is important, I will suggest few books, and hope you will be purchasing at least one of them. Okay, let's have a look. If you really want to learn a subject, find a good book on the subject. But the problem is, judging the quality of a book is not an easy task. As far as computer networks is concerned, it is important to have a good book to understand the subject, various protocols in different layers. So in order to understand all the concept, to have a good book is very important. So based on my experience from the student's life till now, and based on the review of, am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great, thank you. Yeah. The readers, I have figured out a few books for the course. I hope you will like those books and will be able to acquire good knowledge if you study these three books. The first book is the book written by Andrew Tannenbaum, Computer Networks by Andrew Tannenbaum. Currently, the fifth version of the book is available in the market and marketed by Pearson, one of the leading publishing companies. The book covers each and every topic in computer networks, basically the layered architecture, and it is in-depth knowledge is given in the book. It is being used by almost every readers in computer networks. Those researcher or students, everybody use this book, and it has a very positive reviews about the book. There are many people that is writing about the book. This person, Ahmed, he is writing the review and in favor of course. Similarly, some other reviews are given. This is 5-star rating. This also, it has a 5-star ratings, and moreover, it has 73 likes. And this Professor Tannenbaum, as a professor in computer science, also IEEE fellow. It's IEEE fellow is a peak honor which is awarded to a professor and researcher by IEEE Society. It's really, yes, there are very limited number of IEEE fellows. And the concept which is given in the book is really very amazing. All technical information you can find in the book. For each and every layer, all the protocols are discussed in detail. So in my opinion, this is one of the best books, and you should refer this book as a textbook rather than a reference book. And it is applicable for all the layers, starting from up until the physical layer. Second book about the computer networking is Computer Networking, a Top-Down Approach, authored by Course and Rose. This book is really another good book and published by Pearson. And the content of this book is really rich in technical information. Many practical case studies are presented in the book. Mainly if you are interested to know the data in terms of quantified data. Quantified data means if you want to know what is the speed of a phone network, what is the bit rate of a Wi-Fi router, which are those devices which are practically used. Those are demonstrated here with data, with appropriate data, so that the user can grab the concept and to understand and apply their knowledge in real-time networks, implementing or establishing real-time networks. This also has got a very good review, 4-star, 5-star given, and it's a good book and suggested by many readers of this book as a part of the network study materials. However, you can consider this book as a reference rather than as a textbook for your course, and you will enjoy reading. There is the capability of the book to engage the readers while reading, and all the topics are connected to each other. You will like this book, in my opinion. And there is one more book, Data Communication and Networking by Feroz. I feel this person is a very good professor in terms of teaching. Whatever he has presented in the book, it is really presented in a very simple language. And if you read it, you will definitely understand the concept given in the book. And diagrams are so simple. In between, the author has presented some summary of the concept. Those summaries can be considered as a take after reading the chapter or any topic. So that's why I believe the book is very helpful for students. And the reviews, there is this review. Here it's not a very good review given, worst academic material I have come across, but I don't think that this statement is correct, because personally I have studied this book and the concept given is really very nice. And mainly the data communication part, physical network, all important materials are available in the book. And rest of the reviewers, they are giving a very good review about, they are telling good about this book. And yeah, highly recommended. And contents are written in a very simple way. You will like to read this book. You'll be happy and you will be able to understand the concept presented there. So apart from this, of course, this book I suggest you to consider as a textbook for transport layer protocol. Transport layer, you can consider this book as a textbook rather than reference. But for networking layer, I don't think you can have good ideas over here. Networking layer, you should study the Tannenbaum's book, but for transport layer, mainly the congestion control part, you take this as a main text. Apart from that, for transport layer unit, transport layer topics, I will give some handwritten notes to you. This I have prepared for students long days back, but still it's a good material. I will give this content to you. I will upload in the portal. And moreover, I have some notes prepared for congestion control in transport layer. So these two documents, I will give it to you, and you can refer for your topics in transport layer. Please note that this content only for transport layer, other layers. So you can make use of the content. It's not a very purely developed, innovative content. I have taken it from internet and other available resources to me, but still I have gathered together so that you can have a concept idea about transport layer methods or transport layer protocols, right? So apart from all the materials that I have shown you, the books, the handwritten notes, the notes that I have prepared for you, you can also study some research paper on recent topics, but transport layer, as far as transport layer is taken into consideration, there are lots of research work going on. If you are interested to do some research work, you can refer some papers, and those papers are available in the Google Scholar. You can take it from Google Scholar, not from Google website, but Google Scholar. If you type Google Scholar here, Google Scholar, this Google Scholar website, click here. You can find the transport layer. This you can have some paper. These are some papers in transport layer, but not exactly that. Maybe not exactly that what you are looking for, but still you can go for some topics like survey on transport layer protocols, like this survey on layer protocols. It's dated to 2006. It's a bit old, but accordingly you can search for recent work. What is the recent development in transport layer protocols? So that way you can find study material from the internet. So to conclude, books, as far as books are concerned, you take computer networks as a book. Computer networks by Andrew Tannenbaum as a textbook. Along with that, you take data communication by Forojan as a reference book for different topics covered in computer network course. Moreover, I suggest you to detail the transport layer chapter, which is given in this book, Data Communication and Networking by Forojan. The reason behind is the concept is very clearly explained, and you will like to read, and you will understand the topic very easily. Okay, so this is all about the book computer networks. Okay. So, do you have a book right now with you? Have you purchased any book for computer networks? Anyone purchased a book for this course? Tell me yes or no. At least you reply no. Anyone else? Bharat said no. Anyone else purchased the book? I guess no. Okay. So are you planning to buy a book? No, all no. Anyways, okay, I understand. Nobody have purchased a book. In PPT, Nilesh, PPT. In PPT, PDF is available on the, yes, of course, PDF is available. But I don't think that you will get the recent version, edition of the book. So you will get only the older edition if you want to purchase, if you want to have the PDF files of that is free online version of the book. It's okay, but still it's okay. Okay, studying. Nilesh Ajani, studying means? I do not understand. I think you are telling that you will be studying the PPTs and materials. It is okay, but it should you should have a book for a course. That's better. Anyways, so I think some other professors also have suggested some books for that about this course, but I feel PDF में okay, ठीक है, PDF में study कर लो तुम. 5th edition PDF is available online. It's good if it is available. Please share with everyone. I think fifth edition of, you are talking about fifth edition of computer networks by Tenenbaum. Recent version is, I think, seventh or sixth edition. It's okay. Fifth version is also not very bad. It is 2013 or 14 reprint. Okay, anyways, so with that, we'll go to the next topic. Why computer networks is basically, in the next part we'll discuss why the computer networks is studied as a layered architecture. That's what the topic of our discussion. We have told in other lectures also, it might be told you that there are 7 layers of ISO OSI model and 5 layers of TCP IP model. But the question always comes to our mind, why we have layers? Why do we have layers in the computer network design? Is it necessary? That's what we will see here. Let's have a look. So far, we have learned why do we need to study computer networks, the concept of network backbone, especially the national and international backbone, how data traverses through a network, and we have also seen a use case through which we have explained all these topics, all the terms that is being associated with the computer networks. With the concept learned so far, now we wanted to see some other facts related to computer networking or interconnection of devices. It is mentioned earlier in our discussion that the network architecture is very complicated in reality. But why it is so? The reason is a computer network comprises of several heterogeneous smaller networks. All the devices have their own pattern of functioning and behavior. To cope up with such heterogeneity, lots of care need to be taken while designing such networks. To understand better, let us have a look at some real-time networks that we use in our daily life, or we experience the use of this networking or networks either knowingly or unknowingly. Many networks are shown here, out of which we can say, we can see here this network. This is one wireless network, and this wireless network is used for voice communication, and as well as data communication for both. It's a mobile GSM network, showing one GSM network. And second one is a home network, where network is connected through Wi-Fi router. Desktop, laptops, all are connected through wireless routers. This is wireless router. Laptop, this is a desktop. This is one wired router through which it is connected to regional network provided by ISP. Then it is connected to the global ISP network. And this is another network combination of wired as well as wireless network. These are some servers showing here. They are designed for certain clients. And it's a very good example of a heterogeneous network because the underlying technology, this is actually a GSM, if I consider this is a GSM technology, and this uses Wi-Fi technology. This is a TCP/IP based wired network, which is also known as WAN, you can say. So they are all have their own way of communication and functioning. The protocols used, the standard used are different from each other. That is why they are heterogeneous from technical point of view or operational point of view. This is one very small example and simple example that exhibits the use of heterogeneity in networking. And because of this, as said earlier, because of this heterogeneity, the network becomes very complicated. Moreover, the devices used in the network, if you see in the technical level, technically if you just see the functioning or the operation of the devices used in these networks, they are much more complicated than it appears to the end users. So if you see here, if you see this structure here, these are some of the devices which are connected to each other. This is a bit level demonstration of the architecture. This is router. This is a router. This router is connected to a firewall. This firewall connected to a switch. This switch is connected to telephony server. Then it is connected to some PSTN. This is telephone network. And all together, this is a very complicated network that we can see here. And end users are sitting over here, they are browsing or using the network. But internally, when data passes across these devices, entire architecture seems to be very complicated. Despite of having this heterogeneity and complexity, it must have to work flawlessly so the end user will not experience any type of delay or any type of error in their communication. That is the objective of computer networks and precisely the functions and objectives of protocols. Now, if I again look back at this diagram, we have said that there are many different networks that is connected, and all networks are again interconnected, and interconnection of this network becomes the internet. In fact, actual internet implementation is much more complicated than that we can see in the figure. But the question is, what do you understand technically by a network? Normally, a network is defined as the collection of two or more computing devices connected via transmission link in order to exchange information. The goal is to exchange information. The objective or final, our intention is to exchange information. Information means some useful data which is being interchanged, and it is very obvious that the data after interchanging should be error-free. If data is received by the client from the server and which is erroneous or it comprises errors, then it is of no use to the end users. So it is the requirement of the underlying network that data supplied to the end user should be error-free. Moreover, internet is the connection, interconnection of various smaller heterogeneous networks in order to exchange information. So as it is said that they are heterogeneous in nature, means they have their own way of functioning, way of behavior. But despite of that, they should coordinate with each other. While coordinating with each other, they use some protocols. Protocols are nothing but a set of rules to be followed by various devices for communication among them. Then while following the protocols, they have certain standards. It's a level of quality, a level of certain attainment, and semantics to be preserved or followed by all protocols. So protocol and standards are due to these two terms are used very closely in order to follow or observe the protocol. We must have to follow some standards. Based on the standard, the protocol is designed. And that's why this protocol is very, very important. This protocol is very, very important while communicating with heterogeneous devices in the network. To better understand the protocol, I am considering two scenarios. One scenario, mainly observed in the hostels. Entering a friend's room in the hostel, not in their home, of course. Entering friend's room, we do not have any protocol, we do not follow any rules to follow when we kick the door and get into the room. But at the same time, we are entering to a teacher's cabin. We are very decent. Maybe this same person get into friend's room in the hostel like this, but when it enters in the teacher's cabin, I hope he would be more sincere, he would be more polite, will knock the door and get in the room if he's permitted. So this is nothing but protocol to be observed. And unless we follow these protocols, in fact, in our daily life also, it would be difficult to smoothly run our operations or functions. And the same case, if we apply to computers, in case of a human being, if they wanted to communicate, first of all, the client or the person that wanted to have some information or help from another person, definitely he will request him, can I ask or can I ask you to do something? If he permits, then only he will do. Similarly, in computer networks also, when a client communicates to the server, first it requests whether the client can send the request to the server or not. If server agrees, then only the data transfer. So this protocol is used not only in computer networks, it is also observed in our daily life for better functioning or smooth functioning of our daily activities. So over time, we can see here these functions are carried out over time, and that's why this is considered as a sequential operation. Once he replies, then only he will send the data. Here, asking, may I ask the question? He said yes. Then he asked, am I passed? He said no. So these are some sequence of statements, and this is a protocol used, right? Protocol used. Same thing happens here. Request, permitted, send data, get the result. That way it is followed. Right? So, in short, a protocol defines the format and the order of messages exchanged between two or more communication entities, as well as the action taken on the transmission and receipt of message or other event. So mastering the field of computer networking is equivalent to understanding the what, why, and how of networking protocol. And this is supposed to be the most important part of the course, and also this what, why, and how need to be studied for entire operation. Again, once again, since it is said that the network architecture or functioning of the network, or in a better way, that we have said that this data in a computer network, data is exchanged between or among devices, right? This is the sender, or say client, this is a server. And while communicating, it is sending the request and it is getting the reply. It is very simple operation if we see externally without going into detail. But because of heterogeneity of devices and the underlying network, we have to design certain rules and regulations, and those rules and regulations are called protocols. As the operation is entire operation of sending the data to the server and server replying the same is complicated. That's why the entire operation of a computer network is studied by dividing the function of all the devices. By dividing the function, suppose it is a computer, sending computer, this is sender. It has lot of functions to do. First of all, collect the URL from the, for example, very small, collect the URL. URL will be in the ASCII text, which is in user readable form URL. Because this URL is in ASCII text, it has to be converted into bits, zeros and ones, because the computer do understand only zeros and ones. Moreover, this data need to be transmitted through transmission line. This is the client, this is the server, this is transmission link, and this transmission link cannot transmit these zeros and ones. Before communicating these bits of zeros and ones, this computer has to convert it to some signals like this. Signals. This is the electrical signal which can propagate through the communication media, and the receiver will receive. In the receiver side, operation will be reversed, and finally it will detect the URL. For a very small example, these are two different sections, sender and the receiver. So simply I am telling browse www.facebook.com. I am just simply telling that you browse this. I typed it, pressed enter, then we get the result. But internally, the laptop itself will carry lot of operations. This operation includes convert this one into binary format, convert the binary format into some signal, and allow them to pass through the transmission media. Not only that, we also have to ensure that during the transmission from the server to the client or vice versa, no data or no signal to be altered. It should not be altered to this. That means it is representing 1, it is representing 0. No signal should be altered in between. As a result, the data is changed. So that means the network need to take care that data is communicated to the server in the same form or in the same way it is being generated. Since it has a lot of different functions, that's why all the functions are divided among number of smaller entities, or we can say it can be said that the functions of transferring data from the client to the server is accomplished in different phases. For example, in the first phase, we will accept the human readable interface. This is phase 1. In the second phase, we will convert into zeros and ones. It is phase 2. And in the third phase, we will convert it into the signals. This is third phase, for example. In the fourth phase, we may take care of errors. We can take care of the error control mechanisms. So these all phases are theoretically discussed under the banner or in the name of networking layers. For example, if you consider the physical layer, this is one of the layer in the architecture. You might have seen it, or if you do not see it, don't worry, we will discuss it in our forthcoming lectures. Above physical layer, we have data link layer. Above data link layer, we have network layer that way. So physical layer, what the physical layer, and above the
Hello, sir. My network is poor, so my attendance is not getting.